Hey guys, today I decided that I am going to try to do my first makeup tutorial, and it's just going to be typical zombie makeup, and I'm kind of just gonna do it. I'm not really planning out how it will turn out, so we will see because I'm kind of just winging it. So here we go. The first thing I typically like doing is using liquid latex. This I believe is from Spirit, and I believe you can also get it at any like makeup shop, Party City, that kind of thing. And toilet paper. Now you probably don't need this much, but since I always like go all out, we'll see. Now first thing you want to do is rip up some toilet paper, because just putting it on with these edges it'll show up and it looks really sloppy. So you just want to rip it up like this, maybe like mush it up a little bit so that you'll get that wrinkly effect, and just mush it up a little bit, do some ripping, nothing too extravagant. Unless you want specific lines on your face, then you will still rip it so that there's no edges, crinkle it a little bit, and then fold it in a desired way. That way it'll still have the sloppy edges and such. So you also need to be careful to not get it in any hair, because it is extremely painful to get out. Same with eyebrows, because it's just not pleasant. I've gotten it in my piercings and stuff, so it hasn't really affected anything that's happened with my piercings. It hasn't caused any infections, but I will watch out. I'm not sure with fresh piercings, so if you haven't had a piercing for more than a year, I would suggest try keeping it away from your fresh piercings. And right now I'm going to do a typical like facial wound. Now this stuff will stick to clothes, it will stick on hard surfaces, so be extremely careful when playing with this. And first, what you're going to do is you're going to get just a little bit on your finger, and you're going to dab it in a desired area. So the reason why you want to do this is so that the toilet paper sticks better, so that you're not fighting with it. And then you're just going to grab whatever piece you think you really like. So like this little tiny piece. I'm going to stick it and see how it stays like right away. Just dab it in place. Now my liquid latex isn't really the greatest. It doesn't stick well and so on. So hold on. What do you want? Anyways, see how it's already staying? It's not good quality, but it starts sticking and forming to the face already. And then you're just going to start adding on more bits and pieces. If your latex already dries up, you can just add more. There's not really any big deal to it. And just stick it anywhere on your face. You can even move it a little bit if you feel the desire to. And just stick it a little bit here and there. And just add on until you feel like you have enough. And you don't want to have like perfectly round wounds, because unless it's like a brand or a branding wound or something, it'll look really bad. Now I'm just doing like a burn for my zombie look, but what if I possibly wanted to add on like a raised area around it, you just use some latex around where you'd want it, and you take a little piece like this that's more volumized, and you don't twist it too much, but you want to twist it just enough, and just stick it to your face like that, and just dab this on, and add a little bit of rising to it, like that. And see how it sticks out a little bit more than the rest of my face. And make sure it's nicely latexed down, because if it's sloppy looking, it's not gonna come out well. And just continue doing that, going all the way around. Nothing too dramatic. I mean, you're not gonna like, unless you, and you also have to be careful where you place your latex too, because if you intend on talking a lot and your jaw is moving a lot, don't expect your latex to stay on for very long. And you just dab it on. You don't want to rub too much, or else it'll come right off your finger, which is really icky. And then you're stuck here with latex stuck on your fingers. And what's cool is that now that it's starting to dry up, I can make it look more like it's scarring up and getting little bumps and healing wounds and so on. And see what I mean about it sticking to your finger improperly. All you have to do is peel that off and put it in the garbage, which is typically best because latex isn't very nice to get stuck in certain areas. And then this is some of my wound, and I'm going to build a little bit around it to ensure that it doesn't look bad. So you're just going to rip little pieces of toilet paper, and like normal, you're going to add your base latex to your face, and you're just going to take it and add it on. Now it's not going to cause any effect to your facial wound that you already have. As you can tell, see where it's volumized and where it's not. And you can just work with that. And it's typically much helpful too to build off of it, because then if you can just like pull outwards, it's harder to see the latex lines and they're not so sloppy appearing. And what you do is you just add it on around it. Try not, please try not to get it in your eyes, because it is extremely painful and it can also cause you to become blind, and that's extremely painful in itself, I bet. I've only gotten latex in my eye once, and the best thing to do is, if you get it in your eye, is to flush it out as soon as possible to ensure no further damage is caused. And with this, you really don't have to build all the way around, because it'll make your skin, the skin, look more patchy, but it's best to also put some latex and push that outwards. And like this. So that way when it starts to dry, it won't look so icky. And then what you're going to start doing is just pulling it like this. And this will give it a, I don't really know how to explain it, a blistering, moldy, like skin is actually starting to fall off effect. And as you can tell, let's see if I can get this. This is your first step, is to try to get a good latex that you feel will look good. And as you can tell, it looks muscly and has the skin look. And typically what's best, if you plan on wearing contacts, you will, like colored contacts, or if you plan on wearing just typical like makeup contacts, make sure you have nice clean ones, and you want to put it in before you put it on your actual makeup, like the grease paint or any makeup you intend on using, because it will, if your eyes water while you are applying your contacts or contact, depends on what you intend on doing, it can cause your makeup to smudge, smear, come right off. It's not very beneficial. What'll happen, typically I forget this step, and what you do is you place it in your eye, unless you know how to apply contacts already. This takes me like 20 minutes to do. We'll see if I can do it. And also, if you're putting in contacts and stuff, and you have makeup on, your finger is going to smudge all of it. None of it will work well anymore. See, this contact does not agree with me very well. There. See, make sure your contact is inputted ahead of time, because your eyes will water, and then you're going to want to lightly dab through this all and ensure that your eyes dry, like so. And once your eye is dry, you can continue on to the next step. But always make sure that your latex is dry enough for this. And if you feel like it's not volumized enough or anything, you can go through and add more latex into it, and so on. You can always add on another layer, because latex isn't too difficult to work with. Now I'm just pinching it to ensure that the borderline is more seen and everything else is completely dry. So the next step is depending on what kind of look you are aiming for. I'm going to be aiming for like a moldy, icky, infected, pussy area. So the first space I'm going to add will be yellow, and this will go right in the rounded area. Now, the best way to find out what infections and stuff look like is to go on Google and type in infections. Now, this yellow is extremely bright, as you can see, and it will mellow out. And the yellow I am using is a liquid yellow from Party City, I believe. I don't really pay attention to where I get my makeup from. Now, next I will be taking a makeup platelet. This I just got from Claire's, and I paid like $14-15 for it. It comes with a little mirror, which is helpful, but mine's not around. And you're going to want to use the whole, not the whole entire row, but most of the rows that are the different shades of green. And first I will start out with the second to last green, which is this one. And always blow this off to make sure it's good. And you're just going to tap, because the yellow will hold most of the color for you. And see how it's already making a color difference. It's already changing. And then you're going to go and you're going to add the second to first green, blow on it, and then you will dab it again. Just dab it, nothing too dramatic. And if you want to make sure that it's actually nicely blended in, you're just going to dab like this. You can pull my latex is still slightly wet, so I can ensure it's gonna be good for the next part, like that. And then typically that's fine. If you want to add more, you can always go in and add a dark purple like this. Well, like this one, which I use often. You'll see why in a little bit. And you're just gonna dab it in just very slightly, not too much, and see how it causes a difference. And then next, after this, you can either do black, purple, or brown, and you're going to want to blend it in a little. And afterwards, you will take a brown color, depending on your skin tone, to help to blend in the rest. It's typically best to start out with a darker brown color, and typically using like regular face, like a face base. But I use this kind of makeup because I have nothing else, because I don't use other makeups. And you're just gonna keep adding it onto your face, and see it's already starting to blend everything in. And you're just rubbing it in, no big deal. You're gonna do this on all exposed white areas. So you're just gonna casually go through. It'd probably be best to use a typical, I don't know what they're called, but like a bronzer that's more lenient towards your skin tone. And you're just gonna go through and dab it all the way around until most of it, well, mainly the outside of it all, is blended in to a close color to your skin tone like this. And see, I have scarring right here too that'll be added onto my quote-unquote infestation to help ensure that there is actual coloring in it. So there's your blended in look. And always add a lighter color like this to ensure it really blends into your skin tone. And for this, I will actually be using an actual brush and Bare Essentials Mineral Effect. This is intended for light skin tones. I'm going to get a small amount on my brush. You just dab it like this and you flick it and just put it over your face, and it will try to help blend it in, but you really don't need it blended in too well. It's just in case some of the skin you are showing doesn't show up, so, or is showing, sorry. And then what you can do next is, if you don't think your wound looks fleshy enough or green enough or pussy or gross, there's a final step that I can show you. So just wait a second and we'll get there. Next, you will need any sort of red. Doesn't matter what kind of red, as long as it's red. And you're just going to dab a little bit on your finger. And you're going to work it around the edge. And this is going to make it look like it's infected, because the typical infection colors are pink, red, and then a icky, foamy green pus. So see how I'm just dabbing and working my way around? And you're also going to want it to go out a little bit too. But don't make it a perfectly round. That's why I said to work some of it outwards, just like with your regular latex, because this way it'll look like more than one area I had actually gotten affected by it. And you probably can't tell, but it is definitely starting to look more, icky. Like this. And then you just make sure some areas are a little bit more discolored than others. And typically with wounds or bruising or infections and so on, there is a small tinting of purple. Now for this one, this purple, you're going to want to use a medium light purple. And this is my wound so far. Now I haven't added any sort of blood or anything, and unfortunately I won't be able to because I'm all out. But you just dab it here and there, and you make it look really gross. Now, just to let you know, this is just a wound at the moment. I will be adding more zombie effects in a second. Now, you can add in different shades of purple too, so that will also add more effect as this goes outward. You can see now my stuff's falling apart, but anyways, as you can see now, it's starting to gain more coloration, more deformity to it. And next, this is done for now because I will be adding in the more gory touches in a little bit. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take the dark purple, which you use to fill in this part of your wound. You're going to take it. Now your eye colors for a zombie can be like anything, as long as it's dark, a more darker color. And you're going to work from your way in, out, and you're going to follow your tired lines or stress lines, whatever. If you don't have that, lucky you, but most people have them. And if you don't, just look downwards and follow the shadowing in your eye, like this. And you're just going to tap out like so, and you're just going to fill it in. This ain't going to really affect you just yet. You just want to ensure that there is a lot of darkening under your eye. Now, I don't pale out my face like how most people do. Originally, that's how I started doing makeup, was I would pale out my face and go on from there. And paling out the face typically made my zombie makeup a little too showy. You could tell it was fake. And then after you add in your purple, which for some reason is not really showing up there, once you add in your purple, you can go in on your eyebrow. You're going to go all the way up, like up to here, and you're going to follow your eyebrow mark. I don't know what it's called. You're just going to follow the arcing in your eyebrow all the way up to your actual eyebrow. And again, just soft dabbing, not anything too complex. So it looks like this. And then you're just gonna smooth out the color right in here. And you're gonna repeat that same thing once you get in both sides, which you typically should do. It's like this. And you're going to repeat that on the other side. Now, just the typical dabbing it on, kind of rubbing it in a little too. And just following your typical. Now, it should be easy to follow. Your eyebrow brush will lead it for you. And if it leads too far, that's okay. You could just unrub it out of place like that. And like normal, just make sure you get it all, tap and dab to ensure that it is blended in properly. Now you can actually see the eye coloring, and because there's latex right here, you're gonna actually have to dab over it a lot more, not too much, but it'll help to make your colors show up within this area. So you're just gonna dab it a lot and just make sure it's blended in everywhere. And if you want to be super sure that it is nicely blended in, you're just gonna rub a nail in, typically pushing towards the eye. And then to add on to this, you want to use a dark brown, like this one. And what you're going to do is you're going to work from the outside around the actual eye makeup. And you're just going to keep going from there. Now, you probably can't see it with this webcam because it's horrible, but this is typically what you're going to end up doing. And then you just push it outwards. And then you repeat the same process with the other eye. You want to make sure that the makeup blends in with the purple well. And you also want to make sure it blends in with your actual skin too, because if it sticks out too much, people will be able to tell that it is pretty much just thrown on makeup. And then after that, now I don't really do too much with dramaticness, but to make your eyes look irritated and make it look like you've been extremely stressed out or tired or something, you're just going to put a little bit of red, unless you have red eyeliner, and you're going to put it in the under part of your eye. Now just be careful when applying it, because it will move your makeup a little bit more if you use regular. And you also, if you get any on your actual makeup, just blend it in and it'll look like it's part of the makeup, which I'm actually doing blending it in because I got some on my face. And let me see if I can get a better viewing of what I have so far. So this is what I have so far makeup wise. And then now what you will do is add your gore and stuff, or if you want, if you have a thinner face, you can use a darker brown and mess with like areas like your temple. You can, where the shadowing hits it, you can just rub it in, and it makes your face, or your, not your face, yeah, it makes your face look more thinner, like that, which is something I kind of like doing. Like so. And you're just gonna kind of want to make sure they're slightly even, if not a little, at least for the most part even. Like this is kind of even, but not extremely. So if you feel like it's not even, you can just take your makeup and adjust it. And then after you add in that effect, you can, my favorite one to do sometimes is sink in my nose, make my nose look different. You just follow the bridging in your nose, because typically when you lose weight or become sick looking, your body starts to do things like sink in more, like that. And you just repeat on the same side using the same dark brown that you had used the first time. And you want to make sure that they're even. Then you want to rub them in just to ensure. Like that. And since I have specific lines right in here, I can go through very gently with the same dark brown, of course, and add on to those. And since most zombies are not pretty, it's okay to have things like this, and then you just blend them in very gently, like that. And you go like this. And it does the same effect. And I have too round of a face to do it, but typically if you suck it in like this, you can follow this jawline and then brush in makeup that way down. And now that I am done with that step, I'm going to color in my lips a pretty color, and since I'm going for the more infected look, I'm going to use green. So you just put it on your lips, no big deal. It doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be, it actually should be kind of sloppy, because it shows that your face is starting to become infected like this. You can't, unfortunately, you can't see it well. And then, where is it? And then this becomes one of your best friends. This is green. It is food coloring. You're just gonna apply it to your face very gently where your wound is, and you're gonna dab it. Yes, it will stain your finger and possibly your face if you are not careful with it, like that. And then after that, you take red of the same as food coloring, and you're also going to drip that onto your face. But this you must allow to drip off your face, like so. This is your blood. It's best to use actual blood, but if you don't have any, food coloring is probably the most close to it. And see how it's running down my face, and it even causes like the dripping, which I was hoping wasn't going to happen too much. And I'll try to see if I can show you a better viewing of my zombie makeup. And there you go. This side you can't really tell because typically I don't try to do both sides, but this is the average zombie makeup. If you want your lips to show up more, all you gotta do to make them more like green and grizzly looking and icky looking is add some sort of green makeup to it, which I don't have, but I can do something with my teeth. Simply, you take a black patty and you apply this to your teeth, like there. Which is disgusting, but you can dab it and move it around. And there's the teeth. Now with the green, typically what I am known for doing is I just take lip gloss of some sort and apply it to my actual lips. Like this. And if you want your color to show up better, you just take whatever color you intend, like I'm using green, and you place it on your lips. And it will do the exact same effect as this. And I will post how the actual photo turns out. I just need a better quality camera. But thanks for watching.